Hi everyone, I'm going to do my May Currently Inked, and first I wanted to show you my Wonderland 222 notebook that I have been using as my ink notebook. I've been finding it really useful and I like the way that I am using it, so I wanted to share it with you guys because I love seeing these. I am sick right now. I'm starting to feel better, but I still have like a lot of congestion and cough, so I've had to restart this like 5 times because I keep coughing and I don't want to have to edit it. So hopefully this will be the take that gets it done. Anyways, in the front part of this notebook, I have all my monthly currently inked. And if I change something significantly within a month, I'll do more than one. Like I have 2 Januaries there. But I find this really useful to go back and look at what I had inked in what pen because it's so easy to forget. And I like to go back and remember like, oh yeah, I really like that combo. Or no, I did not like that combo. So here's April's, and we'll go through this in a little bit to see, you know, how the month evolved. And then in the next section, which I just left some pages so that I could have more than enough for the year. But in the next section, I have where I'm going to be swatching all of my bottled inks. So far, I've only done the ones that I've bought this year, which are J.R. Bond Verdigris, Sailor Urameku Suki Gokuro, Monteverde Moonstone, which is one of my very favorite browns, Van Diemen's Kookaburra Crest, which I just recently got. I've had samples of it and I love this brown. It is such a pretty muted gray brown that has like a purple undertone. It's wet. It behaves really well. I love it so much. So that and Moonstone are probably my favorite. And then this one, J.R. Bond Vert Empire or Ver Empire, I don't know how to say it. I'm a little disappointed with this one. I added 2 drops of White Lightning to the bottle because it felt dry at first, but I'm thinking that might have been a mistake because now like when I write with it, it's spreading out a lot. 2 drops should not have done that for the whole bottle, but I don't know. And then every time I've tried it in a pen, which I've tried it in I think 2 or 3 pens where I've like dip tested it just to see how it would write with the nib, it comes out this super light, like gray green. And I want it to be this more saturated green. So I'm going to have to mess around with it and play with it in other pens to just see what I can find. If you guys have pens that you really love this in and nibs, let me know. And then here in the back section, I have this little washi tape to take me there. I have a page per pen that I have. So this is like my pen inventory and everything that I have inked up in that pen since I've started this journal, which was, I think, mid-January. So I wish I had more info going back historically, but that's okay. So yeah, I just have the pen listed across the top with the nib size and then the ink that's in it. And I'll just do like a little, you know, writing sample and a little heart rating system, 5 hearts being love it the most and 1 heart being I do not love this combo. So every time I re-ink a pen or put ink in a pen, I don't write when I clean them out, but every time I put a new ink in the pen, I'll note it down with the date, which I think is really cool, like useful information. This pen here, I just find so funny because I have it inked right now and I only seem to put hot pinks or reds in this pen. I've never put brown, green, yellow, like nothing else in this pen. And I just find it so weird that I do that. So next time I'm going to try and ink it with something else. It's just funny how some pens are like that. And then I have 2 medium Goulet nibs that I switch out on different Jinhao 82 bodies. So I have 2 pages here just for those 2 particular nibs, but the bodies will vary. And I have all my clear Pilot Kakunos, which they all have a medium nib, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I could have probably put them all on one, but I don't know. I did them separately. And yeah, it helps me to see too what pages I'm not using. Like I notice I'm not gravitating towards my medium TWSBI nibs as much. Yeah, so I think this is a cool, useful thing to have. See, I haven't even inked up my Eco Cream Rose Gold with a medium nib or my White Rose Gold with a medium nib since I started this, which is so sad because I love those pens, but I'm loving like the fine TWSBI nibs right now. So And then here I was having issues with this ink combo. It's the same color, but it darkened up a lot and it started to dry out a lot. This is the Hongdian N9 that I shared in a video the other day. It's the white one. And I don't know if it's just because the nib is so fine or if the cap doesn't seal properly. But yeah, it dried out a lot. Like if I'm not using it every single day, it will hard start. Once it gets flowing, it's fine. But I have a very wet ink in there, so I'm just a little bit concerned about that one. I'm going to try and buy some spare nibs and swap out the nib for a broader nib because I really do love the pen body. So I don't just want it to be like a loss, but yeah, that doesn't work for me. And so then I have like the rest of the notebook for any additional pens that I might get. And that's it. So yeah, I love seeing people's ink journals. So if you have one and you haven't done a flip through yet, I would love to see it. All right, so now on to my Make Currently Inked. I posted stories about this book on Instagram the other day. I harvested a bunch of my old Hobonichi cousin paper that I hadn't used from like 3 previous years. And I rebound them very crudely, very unprofessionally, and probably not very well. Like you can still see the cloth here at the bottom. I need to clean up the edges. But I think it worked. I mean, it definitely worked. Like the pages are bound together. And I'm going to use this as my next journal, which I'm not done yet with my current journal, but I thought that I would just do my Currently Inked in here. The beginning pages are a little bit wonky because I had to like add some more of the bookbinding cloth to this front page, and I was gonna, like, I tried to tape these down, but just because the cover is like a regular paper, the pages are not sticking properly. Anyways, long story. The front part is wonky. Once I get past the front part, it's going to be good. But I did want to do my Currently Inked in here just because I'm like really proud of this little notebook. I think it's so cute. I'm going to put a book under it though, because it's obviously, maybe that book is too tall. It is obviously like very flexible and needs a little bit of a substrate. Okay, that book is not good. Let's try my Hobonichi. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so let me rearrange everything. My mom gave me a rose from her garden, so I have that sitting there. And my coffee, of course. All right, so I have a lot of carryovers from last month, and I almost considered not doing this because I'm enjoying all the pens that I've had inked up so much, and I haven't used them because I haven't really been transcribing and I haven't been journaling as much. So like I haven't been using them up as much. Oh, I wanted to talk about that. But I just decided to do it anyways because there are quite a few new inks and I have gotten a few new pens. So hopefully it's not boring. But let's see. I ran out of the Dahlia mix. That was such a beautiful ink and pen pairing. I ran out of that. I ran out of the Lion and Honey Burst. I moved the green gold to another pen, which I showed in my update video. I ran out of the Vinta Carnival, which was such a nice pairing, and I really, really enjoyed that. That was only inked for a day. I returned that pen like right away. I ran out of the Colorverse Rainy Day. I did not ink that one that much, so that wasn't surprising. I ran out of the Cassia, and I re-inked that pen. I uninked the brown, pink, and Spadina Rose combo because I just wasn't reaching for it that much, and I don't like keeping things inked that I'm not really excited to use, so I just cleaned that one out. I switched the ink in this one to the Suki Gokuro, and I switched the ink in the Pro Gear Slim to this mix, which I also showed in that update video. I changed the ink in this one, and then I had added this one later on. So I did use up quite a few of the pens, and then other ones I did switch out. So I guess there were some changes. So let's just get into it. Enough yapping. Okay, so the first one is my TWSBI Eco Transparent Purple. Again, I'm just really, really, really enjoying these fine TWSBI nibs. And let me zoom in a little bit more. So I'm just trying to use all the ones that I have because they're so nice. They're so smooth and I love the line width. So this color, I had actually made a very similar color, but then I saw this color on Van Ness and I was like, yes, that's exactly what I have been wanting. And it is Aurora Purple. So I put that in here and I think it's an excellent match. Sorry, I hope I'm not hitting the camera. It's always like awkward to find the best position to write in. Okay, Aurora Purple, TWSBI Eco. Fine nib, transparent purple. I love it. It's such a bright, happy, purpley pink color. Next, I still have my TWSBI Mini White Rose Gold, and this is also a fine nib. This is a much broader or wetter fine nib than most of my other TWSBIs. I don't know why, but I also I think that these rose gold nibs write a little bit wetter or broader than the non-rose gold nibs. I don't know, that's just my observation, but I could be totally wrong. I had Pilot Shizuku Sutsuji inked up in this last month, if you recall, but I switched it. It was almost gone. It was like down to like the very, very bottom. And then I just added into it Noodler's Saguaro Wine, which is one of the, I think I have 2 Noodler's ink bottles. And I really like this pink. It's a little bit more purple leaning than the Sutsuji is. And yeah, it's just such another lovely, bright, happy color. Okay, so after the combo of Lion and Honeyburst ran out, I wanted another yellowy color. Forgive my nails. I took off my fake nails and it like ripped off part of my nail. And so I love this, by the way, this Demonstrator Jinhao 82 with white and gold, or clear and gold. I just think it's so pretty. But I ended up using and inking it with another Noodler's ink, which I don't normally use Noodler's too much because, I don't know, I've just heard like a lot of horror stories about Noodler's inks. But these two I'm loving. This is Southwest Sunset, and I will say it takes a year to dry. On my other papers, like my newer Tomoe River papers and like Stalogy paper, it seems to dry a lot faster than on this OG paper. And it hasn't been an issue. I will usually just put a blotter sheet in if I'm closing the page, but mostly I've been using it in my planner, and because I leave my planner open on my desk, it hasn't been a big deal. But it is such a beautiful, like, I love this ink. What is the flower that it reminds me of? It's, oh my gosh. You know. If you know flowers, you know which flower I'm talking about. I totally just lost it in my head. But it's just such a happy, like, yellow orange. I love it so much. I'm like really, really obsessed. Gail sent this to me in an ink trade, and I am like loving it so much. So I've had this inked up for a few weeks now, and I still have quite a bit in here. So that's what I mean. Like, a lot of these have been inked for some time, and they still have a lot, and I'm just enjoying them so much that I don't want to switch them. The next one is the Hongdian C3. I've been saying it's a C1, but it's actually C3, so my bad. And this is the Daisies version. And I'm still really enjoying this. I had Colorverse Rainy Day in it, which was a blue, but then I wanted to put like a really bright yellow in here. And look at like what a perfect match that yellow is for the yellow in the daisy. It's just so pretty. And it is Diatramentis. It's their standard line, not their water resistant line. And it's called Apricot. And I've never inked this ink up before. When I first got it, I thought it was going to be more like this color. So I was kind of like disappointed. But I thought, what the heck, I'm going to try inking it up. And I'm loving it, like, because it's such a perfect match. And it's a really wet ink. It's very bright, but it is still legible. And it flows well. And this is a fine nib. Haven't had any issues with it, like no hard starts. That I think was contaminated. Let me try that again. No, that's pretty much the color. So yeah, I'm loving that. I still have the KWZ green gold in the Lamy with the cursive nib, and you can see from the ink window there that it is pretty much down to its last little bit. But again, I'm just really loving this combo so much, and I don't want to clean it out or unink it. I'm just going to let it run out. And I've been thinking if I want to buy a bottle of this. I've been seeing other inks that I think are very similar to this, like Palette Iroshizuku Chikurin is this kind of green color. What's the other one? There's another one that I've seen. I forget. It might be Rohrer and Klingner Alt Goldgrün, but I think that might be a little different than this. But I just love this green color, and so I definitely want to get a bottle of something like this. But I think I might try the Iroshizuku one first to see if I like it better or to compare them. But yeah, this is a super wet ink. I just love KWZ inks. And it's been a pleasure in this pen. It's just a perfect combination. Another carryover is the Diamine Merry and Bright in the TWSBI Diamond 580. This is just the regular clear basic kind of 580, and it has a medium nib, and I am loving this one too. Like, I'm just loving all of these. There's not a pen that I have inked up that I don't really love, except for maybe one, which I'll tell you when I get there. This is just the happiest screen. And when I write with it, like a whole page, it's just so fun and just so cool to look at. And it has a beautiful silver shimmer. It's doing really well in this medium nib. No complaints whatsoever. And therefore, I just want to keep using it. This one, another carryover. This is the CCO Sport in Iridescent Pearl. This one I have almost uninked so many times, just because when I'm like looking at all my pens, I'm like, oh, I'm not like as excited about this. But look, it still has a half of a cartridge full of ink, and so I really don't want to waste that. And then every time I write with it, I'm like, oh, I actually really do love this combo. Like, this is actually a really nice combo. So when I'm like just thinking about it, I'm not that excited. But then when I write with it, I really love it. So I'm just going to keep it and keep writing with it until I don't want to anymore. But this is Diamine Velvet Emerald. Also from Inkvent 2023, as was this one. This is a fine nib. So yeah, I really like that teal color too. And then this one that I have had inked up for 3 years now is the TWSBI Diamond 580 in Smoke Rose Gold, and it still has the Ferris Wheel Press Edwards Garden. I'm trying to show you how much it has, but I moved it around, so now you can't really tell. Okay, so it has about that much left. Yeah, you cannot tell. So anyways, it's about a third of the way full still, and I'm still just loving it to death. So I don't want to clean it out. And I only have a sample of Edwards Gardens, but I'm definitely going to be buying a bottle. But yeah, I don't want to waste any of the sample for sure. SRG for Smoke Rose Gold. It's so funny how I used to just like want to always try new things and like ink up more pens and more inks, which I'm still very much like that. But I'm also now getting to a spot where if I'm really enjoying something, I'm also like okay with leaving it in for a long time and taking my time with it and just like enjoying it because I enjoy it instead of needing to move on to like the next thing and the next thing, which is new for me. Like typically I want like new shiny, and I am still very much like that. I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm not, but I'm also learning to enjoy what I love too. So this is the Esterbrook SD, and this also still has Rohrer and Klingner Verdigris. This is another one that when I just think about it, I'm like, oh, I'm not that excited about it. Like I could unink this and not miss it. But then when I write with it, I love the combo so much that I don't want to unink it. So same as the CCO Sport. So I'm going to put Botanical Garden. And yeah, this is like the perfect ink for this pen. It's very wet. I've spoken before about how I feel this pen leans dry. So this ink combo I'm liking a lot. And also I don't have any other like really dark blue blacks like this. So I like to have that color inked up. I talked about this next one in my currently inked update that I posted a couple weeks ago. This is a new pen that I got about 2 weeks ago. It's the Asine V126. It is a vacuum fill, and this is the frosted black color, and it has the black nib. And I just am really impressed with these Asine pens in a very big way. This has Birmingham Pen Company Salamander. And man, I'm just loving this combination so much. It's such a smooth writing pen. It's very wet. This ink is very wet. The only thing is it's kind of annoying because I feel like when I unscrew the back to like release the vacuum fill mechanism so that the ink can flow down, this one is actually a lot looser. In the clear one that I have, I feel like I really have to like pull it up to get the seal to release. Like it just feels a lot tighter. And so then that ends up being messy because then the ink kind of squirts out once I try to push the vacuum back down. So that's kind of annoying. I wish somebody said in the comments that they took the vacuum mechanism out and just eyedroppered this pen. And if that was you, can you please tell me how you did that? Because I don't see how I could get that out of here, like the vacuum part. I'm sure there's a way, but I'm not smart like that. So tell me how you did it, because I think this would be an amazing eyedropper pen. Okay, this is a new pen. I just got this yesterday. And what does this remind you of when you look at it? I think, I'm not sure because I haven't heard anybody else say this, but this is a very obscure brand, but I think this is supposed to be a Platinum 3776 dupe. I mean, it has the exact same body style. And it is obviously a white rose gold. This is rose gold trim. And the barrel and the cap are faceted, like much more facets than say the Diamond 580. Let's compare the two. So I think the facets on this and the material itself definitely look and feel a little bit cheaper than the Diamond 580. Like it is a plastic, but it's also a heavy pen. Like it feels good. Like it doesn't feel cheap in that way. I love the demonstrator and the rose gold trim, and it's called, here, let's see. The brand is Natami. I don't know if you can see that on the nib. And I don't know if this pen is called the Flight of Time, which you can see right there. And it's also written here on the band of the cap. Because it wasn't listed like that on Amazon. It was literally just called Natami Fountain Pen Fine Nib. But, oh my gosh, this is such a great pen. It comes with a converter. It posts, but not very well. And I feel like if you try to force it, it could crack the cap at some point. Like, it doesn't feel like it's cracking now, of course, but I don't know. And it kind of makes it a little back heavy. So I haven't been using it posted, but it's a good length to just use unposted. It has such a smooth nib, and it just hard started just because I had the cap off for a little bit. And this is Diamine Prussian Blue, which I haven't used in so long. I have a little bottle of it and I love it. It's just this beautiful desaturated muted blue gray, but also performs very well. It's not dry at all. It doesn't look too light. And so this is Natami. I'm just going to put Natami fountain pen because I don't know if it's actually called the Flight of Time. It's not listed like that, like I said. But oh my gosh, it is so smooth. And it's clear rose gold. It just writes so beautifully. Look how wet that is too. I'm like super impressed with this, and I'm so excited because I've been finding all these like really cheap pens that just write so well, and it looks like a platinum, and the platinum that I did get off of Amazon was way worse than this. Like, I'm so much more impressed with this. So yeah, I'm stoked about that one. Okay, next is my TWSBI Diamond Iris with a fine nib, and this still has that same little iris blend ink that I made, which is a blend of Diamine Jacaranda and Early Dusk. Oh, I also had Jacaranda inked up last month, and I wrote that one dry, and that was such a beautiful ink. I love that ink. I'm definitely going to be buying a bottle of it when they come out. TWSBI Diamond Iris with a fine nib. So I'm still really enjoying that, and you can see there's just a little bit left, but I do want to finish it. I forgot to do my little cross or my little X over here. That's a very wet ink. I like it a lot. Okay, let's go to this side now. So this is my Sailor Pro Fit Standard, but I switched out the grip and nib from the Sailor Pro Fit Standard, which is this ivory color, into the Sailor Fascine body, just because I like the white and rose gold better. So it's cool to know that you can do that. You definitely can. So this is the 14K gold nib. It's just the barrel and the cap of the Sailor Fascine. So I did do that. And then this I inked up with Ferris Wheel Press Spadina Rose. And this pen, this nib is just so beautiful. Still writing really gorgeously. It's a medium 14K, and it's the standard. After writing with it for a few weeks, I do like the medium fine of the Pro Gear Slim better. I thought this medium would not be as, it doesn't have the same feedback that the medium fine does, but I still love it. Of course, I still really, really love it. Here is the Pro Gear Slim. And I have this one still inked with the KWZ Maroon plus Diamine Writer's Blood. And this is a really nice combination. It's very wet. It feels so nice to write with, and this is listed as Famous Moon on Amazon. Forgot to do the other X too. So yeah, I'm loving my 2 Sailors, but I really love this medium fine. I'm wanting to get more Pro Gear Slims from Amazon now because I just love that nib. I'm so surprised. I didn't think I would love it as much as I do. Okay, we all saw this and I'm obsessed with it. It's so beautiful. This is the newest TWSBI Eco, and I am so loving this color pairing, which is Robert Oster Toffee. I've been writing with it nonstop. And yeah, I'm just so excited about this pen. And I love that ink combo. And Cafe Crema from Robert Oster, the color, the ink, is almost exactly the same. So I don't know why they both exist, but I have 2 samples of Cafe Crema as well. So I'll use that next whenever I run out of toffee. This is the Monteverde Moonstone that I've had inked up for, I think I inked this up at the beginning of April. So it's been a month now and I still have some left. So I'm going to continue to use it because, like I said, this is one of my very favorite inks. I'm really in a brown mood lately, ink wise. And I just love how muted and just pretty and soft this brown is. And I love how wet it is in this extra fine nib. It's just perfect. I love it. Next is my other Asine V126, and let me show you what I mean by this. So to break the seal, like this one's much tighter. The other one you can pull up pretty easy. This one, you have to like, I'm like pulling pretty hard there. And then you can see even the ink is like not really coming down unless I tap it. So this seal is very, very tight. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to edit that out. I deeply apologize. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that, but it's kind of frustrating because yeah, to get the ink to come down, I really have to pull up that plunger. And then to now again, close the plunger, like I have to push pretty hard, which is causing this ink to bubble up. I don't know if you can see that. And then once the seal snaps back in, it kind of like splatters ink like it did right there on the page. So I still love this pen, but the vacuum mechanism is kind of, I don't know, I guess I either have to get used to it, I have to understand it better, or I just have to accept it for what it is. But I'm still loving this pen. It's such a gorgeous writer, and I'm loving this combo. Beaver Dam Brown is one of my very favorite browns. I was going to buy a bottle of it, but I also have Monteverde, or not Monteverde. Yes, I have Monteverde Brown Sugar, which is also a dark brown, and I have Diamine Walnut from the Ink Vent. So I want to kind of compare the three because this does have like a distinctly purple undertone, but if it's very similar to the other two, I'm not going to buy a bottle of it because why bother? I have a big bottle of brown sugar and, you know, that just seems silly to buy more than one. And this is the Frosted Clear. And just look how wet that is. Like, hello, so beautiful. So that's that. Two more. I have so many pens inked up right now, and I'm getting another one today. I know I said I wasn't going to buy any more pens, but now I keep finding all these cheap ones, and they're so good, and so I want to try them, and I've been sick, and I just want to shop. Oh, help me. Okay, so this one is lovely. This is my TWSBI Eco Smoke Rose Gold with a fine nib. So I originally inked this up with Arbonne Vert Empire, but it was coming out so light and I didn't like it. So I added Diamine Salamander, which is this beautiful muddy kind of army green. And I think this really looks like salamander. I haven't used them both individually in a pen. I mean, other than inking this up for a few seconds before adding that. So I can't really tell you how different they are, but I can tell you that I love this combination so much. And it's so wet, and it's so awesome in this nib. The last one I'm going to unink and put into a new pen, so I'm not going to show you that one right now. I'll probably do an update later on in the month. But that is my currently inked for now, and I love them so much. I'm actually like really into these browns and muted colors, more so than the brights right now, but I'm still wanting to keep those and use them because they're so beautiful and happy. So yeah, let's just hold this up. Let me know what you guys think, if you have any thoughts, and please post you are currently inked because I want to see it. Have a wonderful day. Sorry about the cough. I hope I didn't jump scare anybody, and I hope everyone has a beautiful May. Bye, guys.